All right, so let's continue reviewing for the final. Now I'm going to work on the chapter 4 material, but let's move on to the work with polynomials. All right, so here's where you had to add, subtract, multiply, and divide them. All right, and I wanted to look at number 5. This is one you should not miss, but a lot of people do. And it's primarily because they don't take the time to write out one of the steps that would help them be sure to get it right. So let me show you the problem. So it has 3 polynomials, and you're just adding and subtracting them. Okay, and I'm just double checking that I wrote it correctly. You should do the same when you do it on your test. All right, now there's an understood 1 here, understood 1 here, but out in front of this one has a negative. That's where it's going to cause you to have all the signs inside there are going to change. So the problem without parentheses becomes 5x to the third plus 9x to the fifth plus 6. And then this is really going to be minus, this is just minus 7x to the fourth plus 9. See, these were both pluses, so it didn't really change what's inside the parentheses. But now we're going to have minus 3x to the fourth minus 3x to the fifth plus 2x to the third. That's the step a lot of people don't write. Now at this point, you look for your like terms. So they have to have the same variable part. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to combine the items that are the like terms and start with the highest degree. So 9x to the fifth minus 3x to the fifth. That would be 6x to the fifth. And when I have that many terms, I might kind of knock them out when I'm done with them. Negative 7x to the fourth minus 3x to the fourth is minus 10x to the fourth. A 5x to the third and a 2x to the third would be 7x to the thirds. And then 6 and 9 is 15. Okay, and so you have this polynomial right here for your final answer on number 5. All right, so don't turn it into a multiplication problem. There's adding and subtracting. It's not that you're multiplying a bunch of stuff out. And just be sure to rewrite this last one. Take that negative 1 and distribute it throughout. Okay? So that the signs here are negative, negative, positive. Okay. All right, I also want to go ahead and take a look at number 8. On that one, you had 4x minus y, and it was getting squared. All right, here the important thing to remember is that the 2, the squared, means that you're going to use 4x minus y times itself. Okay. Now, when you multiply that out, you've got to distribute the 4x and then come back in and do negative y throughout. So 4x times 4x is 16, and it's not just 16x, it's 16x squared. Then 4x times a negative y is negative 4xy. A negative y times a positive 4x is again negative 4xy. And then here you have a negative times a negative. So that's going to be a positive y squared. Now these right here don't cancel out because they're both negative. So you're going to have 16x squared minus 8xy plus y squared. And that would be as far as you could go on that one. That would be your final answer. Okay, so that's question number 8. Okay, and then number 7 is like that. It's just foiling things out. And I think if you saw what the answer was going to be, you could catch your mistakes on that one. So I won't take time to do it. And then number 9, that's a division problem. So it started out like this. Okay, and then what you got to do is you got to set it up as a division. Okay, and then you've got to go ahead and work it out. So p goes into p squared, p times, and then you're going to multiply back. So some of us were doing scratch work. I'll show that in case you were doing that. So p on top, then p times the p plus 5 is the next step. And that's going to get written right here, p squared plus 5p. Okay. Hard part is this step. You have to subtract that entire polynomial. So when you subtract it, subtracting p squared that's going to become negative. Subtracting 5p, this is going to become negative. So we subtracted by changing the sign so we could now just add straight down. So see, this right here doesn't turn out to be a 7. It turns out to be a negative 3p. Okay. Now I'm going to bring down the negative 13. Okay. And this is where people sometimes put 7p instead of negative 3p. Okay. So the first time we did p into p squared. Okay. For the next round, we're going to do p into negative 3p. So that's going to be negative 3. So you're going to have minus 3 right here. Okay. Now, when you multiply, you get negative 3p minus 15. Okay. At this point, we're going to wind up doing the subtraction step. So we're going to subtract negative 3p, which makes it positive. Subtract negative 15, making it positive. Negative 3p, positive 3p cancels like it's supposed to. And see right here, we don't have negative 27. We have negative 13 and positive 15, which is 2. Okay. By the way, I didn't show that other step over on my scratch work. You may have, after you got the negative 3, you multiplied it times the negative 3p gets multiplied by p plus 5. So that negative 3 gets distributed just like this did. And that's what gave us that spot. Okay. All right, now when you get to here, you also have to know what your final answer is supposed to look like. So it's p minus 3 plus 2 over p plus 5. And that would be your final answer on that. Okay. So that kind of ends the chapter 4 part. So the first video was on exponents, the second video on polynomials. So I'm going to stop sharing that.